Hello, hello, hello! Welcome back to the channel. As always, I am the Page Princess, and for this video, we are going to be talking about all the books that I read in 2025. Now, I know that this is kind of late. I know that everyone and their mothers on Book Chalk and BookTube has already talked about all the books they read last year in January, and it's February. It's literally February 17th. I know, it's super late, but y'all are just gonna have to deal with it because I started this BookTube channel in February and I really want to talk about all the books I read last year. So let's just get into it. So last year I only read 15 books. I was kind of in a slump, so I couldn't read too many, but that is okay. It's okay to be in a slump. So the first book we're gonna be talking about, we're gonna start with the 1-star books and then we're gonna move on to the rest. So the first 1-star book I want to talk about is Every Heart a Doorway by Seanan Seanan. I don't think I know how to pronounce that. Seanan McGuire. Um if you don't know, basically what this book is about, it's very similar to Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children, where it's a lot about um wayward children who live in an orphanage who have magical powers basically. And I thought I was gonna give it 5 stars because of the fact that I love Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children, but I did not love it. Did not love it, honestly. I thought I was gonna love it way more than I did, and I'm really disappointed that I didn't because I thought that the magic system was really cool, and I thought that the characters in the books were really interesting. It's just could really only give it 1 star, and the rating on Goodreads is 3 stars, so I guess it's not too controversial of a take on this book. But yeah, I'm not gonna talk about it anymore because just did not love it. The next book's on our list that has a very low rating is, and this is a book that literally everyone, and I mean everyone and their mothers on BookTube and BookTop read last year, and that is A Heart for Christmas by Sophie Jo Main. Basically, what this is a book is about this 18-year-old girl named April. She has a heart condition, and with it, she can only live for a certain amount of years, so she's very cautious. And she goes to this ski slope with this boy named August, and he kind of helps her get over her fear. And it's just a little holiday romance, and I honestly didn't love it. I usually don't like holiday romances, and I just felt like it was boring. I really feel like the only reason people liked this book is because it was an advent calendar, and that's why I bought it. But would I ever buy it again? No, probably would never read it again. Only gave it 2 stars. Did not really like it, honestly, and I stand by that. So yeah, for the books that we didn't really love too much, we're not gonna be talking about that for too long. So we're gonna move on. um the next book I would like to talk about on this, and this is getting into our 5 to 4 star book territory, and that is Six Crimson Cranes by Elizabeth Lim. First of all, I just want to talk about the cover art in this book. It is so pretty. Like, look at it. It's so freaking pretty. I just love the way the red lettering is, and on the spine. I love the way this is Shiori, our main character, and I love the way she looks on the cover with the cranes. Ugh, it's so pretty. So the reason I put this book after the 1 star to 2 star reads is because those were pretty big disappointments for me last year, but this book was also a big disappointment. And it's why, Angela? You literally gave it 4 stars. How is it a disappointment? Because I thought I was going to give it 5 stars. I thought I was going to give it 6 stars, but I didn't, and I'm so sad about it. Basically, what this book is about is it follows Shiori and her brothers, and they have this curse put upon them, and they have to and one of the curses on the brothers is they turn into cranes, and they have to basically um fight for their lives to turn back into normal human beings. They're also royalty, and they live in this palace, so it's when they turn into cranes, it kind of sets them back because then they're like banned from the castle and everything, and it's a whole thing. And I really did, like, I thought I was genuinely and honestly going to love this book, but I didn't enjoy the world building. I really like I loved the fantasy aspect of it. I thought the fantasy aspect of it was really cool. I liked our main characters. I loved all of our main characters in this book. I thought they were really, really good. Um, but I just honestly, like, the plot was so slow. The plot was so slow. It was one of those books where, like, in the beginning, I was like, oh, this is gonna be really, really good. And it's like, I loved this book in the beginning, and then like near the end of it, it just fell short, and that just makes me so sad because like I wanted to love this book way more than I did. I will still keep it on my shelf though, just because it is very pretty, and like I gave it 4 stars, so that's not a bad rating. It's just I wish it had more to it, and that's not like to dog on Elizabeth Lim as a writer. I think she's a good writer. I just, again, wish there was more to this book. Kind of sad there isn't. All right, the next book we are going to be talking about is we are going to be talking about Violet Bent Backwards Over the Grass by none other than the Queen, Lana Del Rey. I know, I know. I didn't know that Lana Del Rey wrote books. I didn't know that she did that, and I think that's really, really, really cool. I was like, Lana, like, you write you write poetry? Um, this I was given this book on Christmas, and it's really sweet because my sister's boyfriend, and her, they both like scoured the Barnes and Noble to find this book for me. And I just think that is so heartfelt and so sweet. And they did that because like they know I like poetry, and they know I like Lana Del Rey, and they know I like reading. So they gave me this book for Christmas, and I literally love them for that. I think that is so, so sweet of them. Like, and I loved this book. I gave this book on Goodreads a 4.5 star rating, which honestly isn't a bad review. It's really good. I think that it makes a lot of sense that she can write really good poetry because her songs sound a lot like poetry. Like her music and the way that she composes it like sounds like poetry. So I'm not surprised that, she can write poetry. And the way I wrote my Goodreads review is very fitting to how I feel. I wrote, um, the dedication to this book is very fitting. It reads, "Dedicated to whomever's worn warm afternoon hands come upon these pages. Wherever you are, you may find them, and that you may remember that the world is conspiring for you to act in a manner as such." And then I wrote, "The reason I think that dedication is so fitting is because the entire time I was reading this book, I couldn't help but feel like it felt like a warm afternoon picnic on a summer day, or sitting in your living room on your couch on a summer day sipping an ice cold tea. I really think that Lana's writing style is exactly that. It's warm, soft, and sometimes heartbreaking. I feel like this was the perfect book to read for the summer. It was short, sweet, and memorable. If you ever want to if you ever have the time, I do recommend spending some time with this book. I think you will be greeted with a warm welcome." So, if you didn't notice, I use the word warm a lot in that book to describe in that review. I meant to describe this book. Said that backwards. That's how it feels. Like it feels like a warm hug. It's very comforting. It's very heartbreaking. It's very poignant. It really like tells a story, and she just uses little mundane aspects of life to describe a really beautiful story, and she writes so beautifully. Another thing I really like about this book is it has pictures in it. So like that's a picture right there, and then like it also has like little paintings in it. Like in the back of the book, there's a painting, and on the cover of the book, there's a painting. And I just think that's so pretty, and I love it. I love it when books have pictures, and like these pictures really describe a lot about what her poems are about. Like I said, very like her poetry is about how the mundane aspects of your life can be poetic and can be beautiful and can be heartbreaking, and like you can see that in just like this is literally just a picture of the sky and like a palm tree, but like again, like she's writing a poem with that, and it's beautiful. And yeah, Lana Del Rey, I love you, and you know how to write. You are very, very good at writing. All right, moving on. Our next kind of cozy read is we read Howl's Moving Castle. Howl's Moving Castle by Diana Wynne Jones. I don't even know if I have to explain what this is about because I feel like most people have probably watched the Ghibli movie, but I loved this book. I loved it so much. And it's really sad because on my Goodreads review, I only gave it 4 stars, and I said that like on my Goodreads review, I said I only gave it 4 stars because I was in a book slump when I read it, and the plot of this book can be a little bit slow at times. So like that's part of the reason why I only gave it like 4 stars, because I just wasn't in the right headspace to read it at the time. And that's how a lot of cozy fantasy is. It can be very like slow paced. And that's exactly what this book is. It is cozy fantasy, so at times, again, very slow paced, but I still think if you loved the movie, you would absolutely love the book. There are a few changes in the book to movie adaptation, but I didn't really mind that. I honestly I left the book still loving the movie as much as I loved the book. And yeah, I was really happy about that. But honestly, I would love to reread this because I feel like if I was to reread this book, I would give it 5 stars because just talking about it, like, I am remembering how much I loved it. I love our cast of characters. I love Hal. I love Sophie. I love Calcifer, who, can I just say, they are way more sassy in this book than they were in the movie. And I love that. And I'm eating that up. Like, I am literally just like, that is so perfect, so great, so beautiful. Yes, would 100% recommend. Gave it 4 stars in my review for last year, but now that I'm talking about it, it is a 5 star read. It is so good. All right, we are moving on. Next we read our one and only graphic novel last year, and that was Lights by Brenna Thumler. I love this book so much. This is actually a duology. So I have all the books physically. So we have Sheets, we have Delicates, and we have Lights. If you can't tell, yes, that is all words to describe laundry. And the reason that is because this book follows our sheet ghost, who is the main character of this book. His name is Wendell, and he meets this little girl, and they go on this adventure. And I believe in the first book she's like in 8th grade, and then in the very last book she is like a sophomore in high school. She's grown up a little bit in these books, but yeah, it's basically just about their story, and kind of like it's very slice of lifey, and like what it's like going through puberty, and like what it's like making friends at a young age. And it was so sweet and comforting to read, and honestly, this book is my favorite book in the whole trilogy. I did cry at it. I also love this book because you got a lot more of Wendell's backstory. And I just cried while I read it. I cried so hard. I did not expect myself to cry, but it is truly like it makes you feel that way. It can make you laugh and cry, and it's just so sweet. Like it's so sweet, so slice of life. And because it's a graphic novel, it's really easy to read like during a book slump, which I was in a book slump. Also, can I just say the art in this book so good. Like the art is honestly phenomenal. Like Brenna Thumler, you are a beautiful, amazing artist. Like you are so talented. And it's honestly the perfect read to for fall, and I read it during fall because what other time are you going to read a book about a sheet ghost than during fall? Like fall is the perfect season for Ghost. And yeah, so good. Gave it a 5 star books. 5 star books. Gave it a 5 star rating. I gave all of these books honestly a 5 star rating because I just loved them so much. So yes, I would recommend to go read this little trilogy. All right, the next book we have on our list is This Savage Song by Victoria Schwab. First of all, can I just say I love the cover art. It's so pretty. It's so pretty. So, this was another 4 star rating I had last year. And again, another kind of disappointment. I wanted to give this book 5 stars, maybe even 6 stars, just because of like the plot. Basically, what this book is about. It's kind of sci-fi, fantasy, and dystopian mixed into one. It's about two of our main characters. One is Kate Harker, and she lives in the city of monsters, and she enrolls in this college where basically they just teach you how to kill monsters. And then you have our second main character, August, and he is a monster, and his monster talent is very interesting because what he does is he sucks the souls out of people by playing his violin. And that's basically what these monsters do in this story, is they suck the souls out of people. And that's how he basically survives, like he has to like eat the souls of human beings. But despite that, he is still very much like a human character. Like I think he's very much like he's not a monster, like yes, he's a monster in the fact that yeah, he's literally eating the souls of human beings, but he's very human in the story, and you get a lot of his perspective, and I really really loved that about the book. And of course, because he's a monster, he wants to go undercover to this college to kind of like basically kind of like get rid of this organization because his family is in danger. And then him and Kate end up finding each other, and they end up teaming up. And like it's this whole thing in the story, and I don't really want to give any spoilers, but yeah, they're kind of like this unlikely duo, because it's like, why would like a monster hunter and a monster team up in this city? But it's so good. I really think Victoria Schwab knows how to do really well world building. She writes very like poignant. I know I've been using that word a lot, but like she does, like when I like read her work, I just kind of have to sit with it for a minute, because I'm like, wow, that was really good. I just need to like let that marinate and let that sit. The only reason I didn't give it 5 stars though is because the plot was a little slow. And honestly, the plot was so slow enough that I'm not really interested to read the second book of the duology, Our Dark Duet, which kind of makes me sad because of how much I loved the other aspects of the book. But yeah, probably will not be reading the duology unless someone in the comments really heavily recommends it. Like if you really heavily like are like, no, you 100% have to like finish the duology. I'm like, okay, I will, but for now, I think I like where I left it. I think I left on good terms with this book. All right, moving on. We have our first 5 star reading, first 5 star rating, other than Lana Del Rey's book and the graphic novel. And that is Caraval by Stephanie Garber. So happy to talk about this with you guys. I loved Caraval. I just say, like, I am so happy I jumped on the bandwagon with Caraval, because usually I don't like reading book talk books because I feel like they get so much hype, and then you actually read the book and it's like, oh, that was kind of disappointing. But no, this book was so good. I don't even think I have to explain what this book is about, because I think most of you probably know. And if you don't know, you should probably just go into it blind, because it's more fun to go into it blind. But it's so good. I think that she writes in a way that is so beautiful and atmospheric, and also just mesmerizing. Like the whole time I was reading it, like for example, there's a very popular saying in the book that says, "Remember, it's only a game." And it's basically this saying that's like, everything in this book is kind of an illusion and you shouldn't get too sucked in. And the whole time I had to be like, "Remember, it's only a book." Literally I had to be like, this isn't real, like this is just fantasy. Because and the reason is because I was so sucked into the world, and like the writing and everything about it was just so tantalizing and mesmerizing and beautiful, and she just knows how to write a book. And I literally cannot wait to finish the rest of the Caraval series this year. Someone told me that the second book isn't as good as the first, so hopefully they're wrong, and hopefully it is, because I loved Caraval. Also, the cover, so pretty. Literally, I love the cover art. Cannot recommend this book enough. Literally was amazing. Was amazing. Moving on, we have our next 5 star rating. And I am so happy to talk about this book with you guys. And that is A Winter's Promise by Crystal Davos. First of all, again, cover art. Do you guys see this book? It's so wait, it's so pretty. It's actually gorgeous. I love it. These are the European editions, and I think these are the only editions. But you can correct me if I'm wrong. And I'm honestly really happy that they sell the European editions in America because this is a beautiful book. And it's beautiful on the inside as well. I honestly just kind of want to pull up my Goodreads review for this book because I think that more perfectly sums up the way I felt about this book. And honestly, I really don't know if I should really tell you what it's about either. Cuz I kind of am like, should you just go into this blind? No, I'll tell you. I'll tell you what it's about. It's okay, so what this book is about is you have our main character named Ophelia, and she um is on this world called Anima, and because she's an animist. And what an animist is it's a magical power to read objects. So she can touch an object and know who had it before her, its history, its past. And there's a lot of people out there who kind of hunt for her magic. So because of that, she has this arranged marriage with this guy named Thorn, and he lives on this completely different area of the world called the Pole. And with that, he kind of like wants to use her power in their arranged marriage to his own benefit, and she kind of has no choice, like she has to marry him. Also, like they're also using her as a way to fix his reputation, because in the story he is like a bastard son, so he kind of like has a bad reputation. And so the whole time you're kind of just like rooting for Ophelia because you feel really bad for her because she's kind of uprooted from her family. She has to be arranged to this guy that she doesn't know, who seemingly in the beginning is kind of a jerk, but later on he obviously becomes nicer because he is the main love interest, and I love him personally. His family is terrible to her. Terrible to her. And really, like, the book is just like the lead up to their wedding. Like in the first book they're not married, and in the second book they're still not married, which is like the book I'm finishing. And I love it, guys. I eat it up. First of all, completely clean, because I do recommend clean books on this channel. And second of all, it is so good. It has court intrigue, family scandal, fantasy, found family, a little like romance, and like the romance. Can I talk about the romance? The romance in this book is so good. It's slow burn. It has the perfect amount of yearning with also the perfect amount of flirting and tension, and I love it so much. And the way that Christelle Davos like writes is so beautiful. Like literally I will sometimes just have to like sit for like 5 minutes after reading a passage from her because I'm like, wow, that really hit home, and that was so so beautiful. So yes, cannot recommend this book enough. If I talk about it anymore, it will be this entire video. So I need to shut up about it. But please go read the A Winter's Promise. Please read any of the books in the Mirror Visitor series, because honestly, if I end up finishing the whole series, I might make a separate video about it because I loved this book. Loved it. All right. We're going to be moving on to books that I don't own physically, but I still read last year. Um, so the first book on this is The Answer Is No by Fredrik Backman. I loved this book. I loved it so much. So much. Gave it a 5-star rating. It has a 3-star rating on Goodreads, which I'm sad about because it should have a 5-star rating. Let me read you the description because it's hard to describe. It says, Lucas knows the perfect night entails just three things: video games, wine, and pad thai peanuts are a must. Other people, not so much. Why complicate things when he's happy alone? Then one day, the apartment board, a vexing trio of authority, rings his doorbell, and Lucas's solitude takes a startling hike. They demand to see his frying pan. Someone left one next to the recycling room overnight, and instead of removing the errant object, as Lucas suggests, they insist on finding the guilty party, but their plan backfires colossally. Told in Fredrik Bachman's singular witty style and sharply drawn characters and relatable antics, The Answer Is No is a laugh out loud portrait of a man struggling to keep himself in a world that won't leave him alone. Loved it, guys. Literally, again, that's what it's about. It's about Lucas. He wants to live alone, but there's a frying pan in his apartment complex that somebody littered, and with that he ends up that basically forces him out of his apartment. He's not alone anymore. He meets other people in his apartment complex, other people he wouldn't have known if the frying pan wasn't thrown out. And I love that aspect of it because it really is a story about like being alone versus not being alone. Like, are you really more happy alone? Or if you like were to step out of your shell, like would you be more happy? And like it's about compassion and empathy for others, and when you encounter others and like what it's like to like kind of realize you're not the main character, because I think Lucas in a sense kind of thinks that, but then he realizes near the end of the story that he's not, because he encounters all these other people in this apartment complex and it's over a freaking frying pan. But it's like it, which sounds so stupid, in theory, but like the way Frederick Bachman writes is so beautiful. It's so beautiful. Like I cried reading this. I cried, I laughed. I loved it so much. I literally cannot express how much I love this book. He is my favorite author, probably, of all time. And I cannot gush about it anymore. Also, very short read. Only read it in 30 minutes because it's a novella. Absolutely 100% recommend. You guys have to go read it. All right. The next book we're going to talk about is The Hawthorne Legacy by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. For those of you who don't know, this is the second book in the Inheritance Games series. The Inheritance Games is basically just about Avery, who's our female main character, and she somehow inherits this entire estate, even though she's not related to any of the people in the family in the estate. So she pairs up with the three brothers who live there, and they go on this journey to find out why she inherited all this money. And I love it. There's drama, there's family scandal, there's clues, there's mysteries, and I loved it. It was so good. And honestly, the second book in the series was such a good palate cleanser because I was in such a book slump. I did only give it 4 stars, but that's okay because like I wasn't expecting it to be a 5 star rating, because I really only read it as a 5 star. I mean, I really only read it as a palate cleanser. That was kind of the only reason why I read this book. So I'm happy with the rating I gave it. And I really cannot wait to finish this series. Like, my goal is to finish at least half of it, if not all of the series this year, because I loved it so much. And it was so, so good. These books are really just, they're very comforting. I feel like every time I read them, I just feel very comforted by it. I love the found family. I love the cast of characters. They really remind me of the movie Knives Out. So it's like, why would it be comforting? Because Knives Out is literally like a thriller movie about murder. And this book is basically a thriller book about like family scandal. But like, I don't know how to describe it, but Jennifer Lynn Barnes somehow still makes it feel cozy and still makes it feel just so comforting. And I don't know how to describe that, but I love the way she writes, and I will be finishing the rest of this series. So, yes. Moving on, talking about cozy reads, I read In the Company of Witches by Orly Wallace. I love this book, guys. I loved this book. I genuinely and honestly, I giggle talking about it. It was so good. I gave this a 5 star reading, so this is like, yeah, this is another 5 star rating on this list, and I'm so happy about that. Basically, what this book is about it's about these three witches, and they're called the Warren witches. Um, and they run this Airbnb, and then one day someone tragically dies and gets murdered at their Airbnb, and they have to figure out like who did it, and like it's kind of like a who done it situation, and it's like murder mystery, but it's also like cozy fantasy and clues. And our main character, Nora, she's a witch, but she doesn't use her witch powers because of something tragic that happened to her in her life, but she's forced to use it so she can clear the name of her two aunts that she lives with, the other two witches, because of the murder that happened at their Airbnb. And I loved this book. I loved it so much. My Goodreads review is a really good way to sum up how I felt about it. I wrote, "What a sweet, perfect book for fall. I am honestly so happy I read this book when I did, because it greatly helped with the book slump I was in. It was light, fast paced, funny, and at times dark. I am so happy that I was invited to beckon the home of the Warren Witches Airbnb. I felt I was there with Nora, Lizzie, and Bryn, the three witches. If you are looking for the perfect fall read with practical magic and Gilmore Girls vibes, I highly recommend. I truly loved this book. So, yes, this book has Gilmore Girls vibes. It has like practical magic vibes. It has all the vibes. And guys, I loved it. I loved it so, so much. I thought it was so good. It was literally so perfect for fall. Absolutely read it. All right, moving on. Because I know if I talk about this book, I'm probably going to be talking about it for the rest of the video. Um, so the next book we have on this list, hold on, Goodreads is loading right now, is oh, we have City of Smoke and Starlight by Allie Ernest. Now, this book makes me so sad, guys. This book's make me so sad to talk about because this was my biggest disappointment for last year, other than Every Heart a Doorway, or even other than this Savage Song, even other than Six Crimson Cranes. Honestly, this was my biggest disappointment. Let me read you the description because it's hard to describe what this book is about. But it says, um, Case is a screw up and he takes the blame for nearly killing a fellow pilot. He faces serious charges, seeking to clear his name. He flies a ragtag crew to establish trade with a hostile race and help his nation avoid the looming war. If only he didn't have to work with the infuriating bookshop attendant who insulted him with Shakespeare. After Hallie loses her bookshop job and the promise of school tuition, she's desperate to avoid the ghost of past awaiting her return home. When offered a substantial sum to negotiate an alliance for her country, she says yes before the nice government agent can finish his sentence. Now, if she would just ignore the ungrateful, arrogant prat of a pilot. So, you get the gist. It's about Hallie and Kaz. Kaz is a pilot, Hallie is a bookshop attendant, and they have to go with this ragtag crew on this journey to form an alliance with a warring country. And it's sci-fi and steampunk and a little bit of fantasy. All those things sound like a great setup for a book, right? Like you would think I would be absolutely invested, absolutely eat that up, absolutely love this book. Did not, was so massively bummed out and disappointed in it. And like, let me just tell you why. Okay, first of all, the good things about this book, the world building is really good. I really liked the cast of characters. It had a very nice found family aspect. And I think the initial like plot for this book is very interesting. The only thing that falls short is the banter between Hallie and Kaz felt very forced. It felt kind of like, I don't know if this makes any sense the way I'm gonna describe it, but it felt very TikToky. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it felt super forced, and it did not feel like I was actually reading, um, like, good banter in a story. It just was not done well. It was not done well. Also, the plot was so slow. Like, there is, I don't know if this is a spoiler. Well, they have to go on this ship to to get to the place where they need to form the alliance with the warring country, but they're on the ship for like half of the book, and like half the time it's just like the ship breaks down and then it gets fixed, and then the ship breaks down again and then it gets fixed, and it makes the story so boring to read. Like the whole time I'm just like, oh my gosh, like can we please speed things up? And it makes me so sad because I wanted to love this book because again, the setup sounds so freaking interesting. Like enemies to lovers, sci-fi dystopian, steampunk, sign me up. But no, was not very good. And I should have listened because on Goodreads it is a 3.5-star rating. So that should have been my first red flag with this book. And it just makes me so sad because I wish I would have loved it. And it's not like I hated it. It's just I wish it would have given me more. Like I feel like the plot was too slow and the romance was just too forced, and I will unfortunately not be finishing the rest of the books in this series. So yes, do not recommend unfortunately, but you know, that's okay. We all have our books that we don't like. Moving on. I read The Cruel Prince by Holly Black. And honestly, I gave this book a 5-star rating, and it has a 4.1 star rating on Goodreads. So that's not a bad rating. This book was really just like a palate cleanser for me. I don't think I need to explain what it's about because I think everyone and their mothers has read this book. This is again another one of those books that I read um as like, it's one of those popular book talk books that I read last year. I read quite a few of those. Um, and I liked it, I thought it was interesting. I liked the magic. I think Holly Black definitely writes in a way that she writes very beautifully, and I think that I like her world building. It's very atmospheric. I like the way that she made the romance. I feel like this was honestly enemies to lovers done very well in this book. I think it's done very well. The only reason I didn't give it 5 stars is because it felt more like a palate cleanser to me than like a book series that I want to finish, if that makes any sense. Like, I don't know, when I finished it, I was like, you know what, that's good, but then I just didn't think about it, for like the rest of the year and even to this point. Like, I just didn't think about it, and I was like, yeah, because I'm not like actively thinking about it, I just don't think I'm in the mood, to ever read the second book of the series.